I used core flute to cut the body and the hood out for my Jeep. You can also use poster board. And because I wanted mine to be extra sturdy, because I'm going to be putting a lot of little goodies inside of the Jeep, I decided that I was going to zippy tie the axles on. So I just put some holes in the bottom of the Jeep so I could put the zippy ties through. And I also covered the axles in aluminium foil. So then once I had the nappies on for the wheels, it looked like they were little hubcaps on the ends. It's best to try and take your time when putting the cover on the body of your Jeep. The neater you get it now, the nicer it's going to look when you've finished. So just play around with it. Get all the little creases out, find the best way possible to fold it. This can be a bit tricky at times depending on the thickness of your blanket. I'm using 2 of the wraps for this, or 2 of the receiving blankets. You just want to make sure you get all the edges lined up perfectly. Really take your time. Get the creases perfect. And just make sure that you don't have any of the seams on the outside where it's going to be too noticeable, or where you can't cover it with ribbon. I'm just making sure that I can fit my basket in now that I've covered it. It fits perfectly. You can see I've got my roll bars attached to the basket, 2 of the roll bars. The very back roll bar is just a receiving blanket rolled up with washi tape wrapped around it. And the roll bar that's in front of that is a piece of core flute, about between 1 and 2 inches wide, that I've just bent to keep the structure of it. Now I'm just placing the number plate underneath 2 nappies at the front. And the number plate I've just attached to a pipe cleaner. Then I'm going to put 2 dummies on top of that, which are your toe points, and they are also on pipe cleaners, and then a nappy on top of them to keep them in place. And these nappies, I've got 13 nappies here, and I've just put a lucky band around them. They're going to be your grill for your Jeep. And I've slotted every second one back a little bit. And you'll see later that in the end product, I end up putting every one that's back a little bit, I end up putting blue paper around that just to make it stand out a little bit more. And then for the lights, I've just got a yellow sock covering a nappy, and then a blue sock on the other end of them. Now I'm just attaching the hood, and you can see that I've got a teething ring on the front for the steering wheel, and I also just printed out a little dashboard display to stick on it. Now insert your bottles, they're going to be your headlights, and you'll also see that in the end product I have put some string lights in them, so I can turn them on and off, and they actually do look like headlights. You just play with it, get all your positioning right. And once you wrap the hood with the receiving blanket, it's going to hold it all nice and tight in place. Make sure you fold the blanket so it's the correct width to cover the hood properly. Again, this can take some playing with to get it all folded neatly. But it's well worth the end result to take your time with it. Now I'm just using some washi tape to completely wrap all the way around the hood and underneath the Jeep. Again, just taking your time to make sure. You can see here that I get a little crease in it. So just take your time to make sure it's all smooth and flat. Throughout the whole thing you can play with the positioning of things, shift them around, make sure you've got all the edges covered. Sit my basket back in, and you can see on my basket I've got 2 nappies slotted over the top, and they're going to be the bucket seats. And now I'm just putting in the front roll bar. You can see on that I've got 2 side mirrors that I've just attached with a pipe cleaner, and then put 2 of the socks over the edge. Again, for this roll bar, I've used about 1-inch piece of core flute, wrapped it with a receiving blanket, and then wrapped washi tape around it. And that's just slotted in between the dashboard on the hood and the side of the Jeep. I'm just putting 4 nappies in the base for the seat. And readjusting the bucket seats. Make sure you get them level. They weren't quite sitting right for me, so I just inserted some cardboard into them to make them stand upright more. Now I'm just attaching the wheels. And I made these prior to starting everything else, and I've got 18 nappies in each wheel. And because of the weight inside my Jeep, it was squashing the nappies down. So I cut a 1-inch wide piece of PVC pipe, and I put that around each wheel, and then I put ribbon around that. So now it's nice and sturdy, it's not getting flattened by the weight of the Jeep. This is going to be a slightly heavier nappy cake, given that I've got all the little gifts inside the basket. And here's the spare wheel that will go on the back. I was a bit unsure how I was going to attach the spare wheel to the little clip that I have, as you can see here. Because of the weight of the wheels, I didn't think it was going to stay on properly. So I actually ended up with an aluminium clip that my husband made for me to go on the back of the Jeep, which keeps the spare wheel on nicely. I decided with the leftover goodies that I had that I was going to make a little trailer. So the number plate will go on the back of the trailer. I'm yet to decide how I'm going to attach it to the Jeep, but it's coming along nicely. And you can see here that I've added the lights in to the bottles, so you can see your headlights. And I've added the paper. I've just slotted the paper in between every second nappy, so the grill stands out more. I also added pipe cleaners to the seats, the seat belts, and a Jeep spare wheel cover. Which I just printed out on adhesive paper, stuck to cardboard and slotted it in the nappies.